AITA for getting my mom and family kicked out of a conference I was speaking at because they brought my stepfather who I do not get along with. So, this one is tough for me. My family has been thrown into chaos because of something I did yesterday. So, the story is that yesterday I was set to give a presentation at a conference that is going on at my university. This started late last year when one of my professors encouraged me and a project partner to submit work we had done in the class as a paper to various publications. We were accepted into an engineering conference paper that my university publishes annually and were set to give a presentation on it at the corresponding conference. Suffice to say, this is a huge deal for me and my project partner as we are both still undergraduates. Because of COVID, the conference became invite only, and if people wanted to attend any of the presentations they needed to reserve seats beforehand. This included potential family that wanted to attend conferences. I got tickets for most of my family, including my mom and siblings, with one caveat. Under no circumstances was my stepfather to attend. My relationship with my stepfather is bad. Really bad. I'll spare my past with him, but the last words I spoke to him were nearly 2 years ago when I told him I can't wait to dance on his grave after he called me a gay slur. Along with being homophobic, he is extremely racist and sexist as well. And seeing as the co-author of my paper is an Indian woman, I wanted him nowhere near this conference. My mom promised me he would not be coming. That was a lie. As when I show up to our presentation I see his disgusting face in the crowd. Before we went out I went to one of the organizers and told them the situation and how I felt uncomfortable with him here. The organizer decided to go and tell my stepfather that he needs to leave. While I was not there at the time, this situation apparently escalated when my stepfather refused to leave and ended with my mother, my siblings, and my stepfather being escorted out by campus security. Afterwards we gave our presentation. Since then my life has been absolute hell. My mother and stepfather have been crying to everyone in the family about this. My mom told me that I was a monster for embarrassing her like this, and multiple family members have called me an asshole for causing a scene like this. On the other hand though, my father and stepmother have told me I did nothing wrong. They were there as well and told me about how campus security got involved, and that I should seriously consider cutting contact at this point. I feel no regret for getting my stepfather kicked out, but I feel extremely bad for my mom and siblings. My mom has told me that I am an awful son and a monster, and that I threw a tantrum when my stepfather was just in my presence. I'm conflicted here. NTA, your mother did it to herself. You told her your expectations, she wholeheartedly agreed, and then did the exact opposite. It's you who should be angry, hotter. Stay strong and feel no guilt. Congrats on your hard work being recognized. NTA, my mom promised me he would not be coming. Your mom is a liar. Full stop. Liar. My mom told me that I was a monster. Your mom called you a monster after she lied to you. She embarrassed herself. She lied and didn't think you would do anything about it. You did. And rather than leaving gracefully, your stepdad caused enough of a scene to get him and the entire family kicked out. This is on her and him. My father and stepmother have told me I did nothing wrong. They were there as well and told me about how campus security got involved, and that I should seriously consider cutting contact at this point. They saw it go down. They know what happened and can confirm you did nothing wrong. And they are absolutely correct. You need to cut contact with your lying asshole mom and her asshole husband. Natar, congratulations on your hard work. You did that! Exclamation mark. Your mom enables your abuser's toxic behavior, and I think it's time for you to think about cutting contact for a while. She promised that she would respect your wishes, and she blatantly lied. Any parent who stays married to a person who calls that parent's kid a homophobic slur is an asshole who does not deserve children. You did make it clear that your stepfather was not invited. Your mother assured you he would not attend, and yet she brings him along. He lied to you and then has the audacity to say that you embarrassed her. You are definitely NTA. There is no reason why you should feel conflicted. You laid down a line when sending tickets to your mother. She crossed it. AITA for getting a nose job after my 2 Sister had reconstructive surgery to look how she was supposed to look if she hadn't gotten in an accident, so I have an identical twin sister. When we were kids we got into an accident. The accident left my sister with some really bad scarring on her face. She and my parents finally have saved up enough money for her to get some cosmetic surgery to fix it. So she had the surgery done a little while ago. The surgeon used my face template since my sister said she wanted to look like how she would have looked if she never got in the accident. Now, unrelated to her surgery, I had always wanted to get a nose job. I've never liked my nose. My family, including my sister, all knew this, but I was always too afraid of having surgery to get it done. However, after seeing my sister go through a more difficult process, a nose job didn't seem so scary anymore, so I set up an appointment and had it done. It wasn't anything too dramatic, it just got smoothed out. My parents didn't really even notice when I went over to their house to visit after it had healed. My mom just said I looked good and thought I was doing my makeup differently. My sister, on the other hand, noticed right away. She was unexpectedly very angry that I had got it done. She says she wanted us to look the same so people wouldn't get curious about what happened whenever it came out that we were technically identical twins. She said me getting a nose job is basically the same as calling her nose ugly. The last thing she said is that I just did it so I would get to continue being the pretty sister and she'll never be able to outshine me, which isn't true. I did try explaining my side and said I would just tell people I had surgery if it came up, but she refused to listen and locked herself in her bedroom. She's completely refused to talk to me for weeks now, and I'm pretty sure she blocked my number on her phone. I did just hear from my mother that last week my sister tried to go back to the doctor and get another surgery to get her nose to look like my new one, but apparently the doctor said no because there was too much scar tissue. So now my sister's gone back to locking herself in her room all the time like she used to before she got her surgery. My mom says I really should have taken more time to reconsider getting my nose done because me getting cosmetic surgery made my sister feel bad about herself again, and unlike for her, me getting it done wasn't necessary. NTA, that was a wild ride. If people ask questions about why you don't look identical anymore, y'all can just tell them that you got a nose job. It doesn't have to be about her accident anymore. Also, identical twins usually look less identical the older they get. Even if you have mostly the same life experiences, you won't age quite the same way. Nah, your sister has had the misfortune to see what she should have looked like as she grew up mirrored in you, but through an accident, has not. You, unwittingly, have become a mirror to what she wanted to be, unscarred. She had ultimately got to that point where she can once more be your almost identical twin, and I can understand how your physical self has been entwined with her desires and identity. However, what she has failed to take into account is that you are not her. She may desire to want to look like you, but that doesn't mean you want to look like her, or indeed the old you. She has finally accomplished what she wanted, but by changing your appearance, you have undermined her happiness. This isn't your fault. You aren't her, and this is her problem, but I can't call her an OH, when she has clearly struggled with her self-esteem so much, and had it tied up so much in your looks. NTA. You have every right to change how you look to feel confident. Just because your sister can't accept you two don't look 100% alike doesn't mean you did anything wrong. Her emotions aren't your responsibility. I'm happy for you getting the work you wanted done. Nah, I feel badly for your sister though. Ever since the accident she felt like the ugly sister even though you're supposed to be identical, and as soon as she finally got back to being normal you went and fixed your nose so you're still not on the same level. You have every right to do what you did, but my heart goes out to your sister and I hope she can get to a place where she doesn't hang her self-worth on looks or comparing herself to others. That's a recipe for never being content with anything. AITA for not paying for my daughter's wedding/uni. When my children were born, my husband and I were determined to put aside money for their university/weddings/lives. We are not particularly well off but managed to scrape together almost $30,000 for each of our children by the time they were mid-teens. When our daughter 24 was 17-18 she became involved in a very cliquey group of wealthy girls who were constantly showing off to each other. Long story short, but in an effort to impress these girls believes our daughter committed identity fraud against me in order to open several credit cards and buy a car. She had no job and no way of paying the almost 45k of debt she incurred. My husband and I declined to press charges against her, but we wound up with 45k of debt that we couldn't afford to pay off. We ended up having to use the money set aside for our children's futures. We made it clear to our daughter at the time that she would no longer have that nest egg and that she would have to pay us back for the 15k taken from her brother's future nest egg. She got a job at a fast food place, went to therapy, did everything we asked and turned into a respectable adult. She never went to university but has worked her way up to being faux manager for a small restaurant, and we are proud she has turned her life around. Our son turned 18 in January. He was supposed to go away to university in England this year but ended up taking a gap year instead because of COVID. As promised, we gave him the 30k and he has put most of it into a fund for university and future traveling and spent the remaining 4k on a car so he could get to his job. He works at a plumbing store. Our daughter came home for the first time since before COVID to tell us she was getting married to her BF of 3 years. We were super excited and thrilled to see her. However, when she saw her brother's car in the driveway, she asked how he bought it and my husband reminded her of the fund. Long story short, she is now upset that we have given her brother 30k despite being reminded about what she did and how much it cost us. She is now demanding that if we want to be invited to her wedding, then we have to give her an amount equal to her brother. Honestly, we are heartbroken. We simply cannot afford to give her that kind of money even if we wanted to, and we thought she understood our position. I feel like a terrible mother for letting her down, but my husband is resolute that we did the right thing. We are the assholes here. I should make it clear, as I see comments assuming otherwise. She did pay back the $15,000 for her brother's nest egg. NTA. Call her bluff. Take the disinvitation with grace and say that you're sorry to miss the wedding, but you did the right thing. NTA. You already gave her that money, plus a 15k loan. This she decided to spend her share early trying to show off to her friends. Now she's got to live with the consequences. It's not like you refused to support her, she just isn't getting extra money. She'll be fine. NTA. And that is emotional blackmail that she is putting on you. Please don't fall for it and stand your ground. NTA. Remind her she could be in a prison right now for her actions and has already spent 150% of her funds.